Here we go again. Thanks for joining me for the third segment of On My Family Tree. This one is called My Father's Big Limbs. I named it that because although my father, Howard Walter Wright, is a slender man of 5'8", his biceps and forearms were always proportionately larger and more developed than what I saw on other men his size. That always impressed me as a boy. Heck, he impresses me now. As I stated in parts 1 and 2, I know that I have missed someone or something. Again, I apologize in advance. On my father's side, the earliest recorded date that I have found on his maternal ancestry is May 5th, 1850. That is the birth date of my father's grandfather, Seddon Bruce, born in Charlotte County, Virginia. This means that 3/4 of the main branches on my mother's and father's family trees trace back to Virginia. According to research completed on my behalf by genealogist Bridget Burkett, the information submitted on Seddon Bruce's 1878 wedding record was quite illegible. It almost appears that his parents were George and Elvira Rice. The illustration I have included in this presentation shows how close the names Bruce and Rice seem to appear. However, if it is Bruce, Ms. Burkett's research also indicates my Seddon Bruce may have had a biological relationship to another Seddon Bruce, who was living in the same county at the same time and was about the same age. That Seddon Bruce was the son of a wealthy landowner and grocery store businessman, Charles Bruce. Are they all related? I may never know for sure. On January 9th, 1878, my Seddon Bruce married Harriet Hattie McCoy. Hattie was born in North Carolina in about 1861. In the early 1880s, they moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In the 1887 Pittsburgh Directory, he was listed as a pantryman, which could have been any number of occupations. In the 1892 City Directory, a laborer, and in the 1900 census, a coke drawer, converting coal to coke. Seddon and Hattie Bruce had 8 children together toward the end of the 19th century. The family lived in different areas of Pittsburgh before settling at 1538 Wiley Avenue in the historic Hill District. Their youngest child was a girl, my grandmother, Sarah Eva Bruce. She was born January the 9th, 1900, exactly 22 years to the day after her parents were married. Sarah became an active member of the Christian and Missionary Alliance Church, where her brother-in-law, Edward Burgess, a former gospel singer of note, was the minister. My genealogist often assists me in uncovering fascinating information on my family's history. Sometimes, however, it is also very sad. As it turns out, Sarah's mother, Hattie McCoy Bruce, a midwife by profession, died when Sarah was only 8 years old as the result of stepping off of and being partially run over by a moving train. The story ran in the October 12, 1908 edition of the Pittsburgh Dispatch. On March 3, 1918, not long after Sarah Bruce's 18th birthday, she married a 31-year-old native of Yazoo City, Mississippi. His name was James Andrew Wright, my paternal grandfather. James was one of at least 5 children born to Lazarus and Minerva Nelson Wright on December 26, 1886. Lazarus and Minerva had been married in the previous year, which is the earliest recorded date on my father's paternal line. Lazarus was one of 4 children born to Hewitt and Anne Wright. According to family history provided by my father and distant cousin Helen Long Hardwick, James attended Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, where he learned tailoring, then to St. Louis, where his older brother Harrison moved, later migrating to Pittsburgh, where he met my grandmother. In addition to tailoring that my grandfather Wright learned at Tuskegee, he also took up preaching and interior decorating. James and Sarah Eva Wright lived in Penn Township, outside of Pittsburgh, and had 5 children between 1920 and 1927. They were James Edward, Marjorie Virginia, my father, Howard Walter, Wilbert Harrison, and Evelyn May Wright. My father, Howard W. Wright, grew up in Penn Township, attended Lincoln Park School for grades 1 through 8, graduating from Penn High School in 1942. He sang in the school chorus, enjoyed reading, ran track, and played baseball. In his senior yearbook, he wrote that his aspiration was to become a mail clerk. He moved to Southern California in 1946, attended Pasadena Junior College, later PCC, while obtaining jobs at the Water Department, Webb Department Store in Glendale, and Huntington Memorial Hospital, working in the morgue. He lived in Pasadena and with his younger brother Wilbert in Monrovia in the late 1940s. In October of 1950, he met his future wife, Barbara Ann Bowman, at Friendship Baptist Church. They began dating in 1951 and were married in June of 1952. That's it for Part 3. Please be sure to join me for Part 4, On My Family Tree, Fruit, coming up next.